behind the smiles the horror of the night's battle lurked. A poor guest. Today, he supposed, was for rest and more preparation. It was a struggle for him not to be impatient with the training, with the planning. At least last night they'd fought, he thought, as he pressed a hand to his thigh that ached from an arrow strike. A score of demons had fallen, and there was glory in that. In the kitchen, he opened the refrigerator and took out a bottle of Coke. He had developed a taste for it, and had come to prefer it over his morning tea. He turned the bottle in his hand, marvelling at the cleverness of the vessel, so smooth, so clear and hard. But what was inside it? This was something he'd miss when they returned to Geall. He could admit he hadn't believed his cousin, Nora, when she'd spoken of gods and demons, of a war for worlds. He'd only got with her that day, that sad day of her mother's burial, to look after her. She wasn't only blood, but friend, and would be queen of Geall. But every word she'd spoken to him, only steps away from her mother's grave, had been pure truth. They had gone to the dance, they had stood in the heart of that circle, and everything had changed. Not just the where and when they were, he mused as he opened the bottle and took that first bracing sip, but everything. One moment they had stood under the afternoon sun in Geall. Then there had been light and wind and a roar of sound. Then it had been night, and it had been Ireland, a place Larkin had always believed a fairy tale. He hadn't believed in fairy tales or monsters, and despite his own gift, had looked askance at magic. But magic there was, he admitted now, just as there was an Ireland. And there were monsters. Those demons had attacked them, springing out of the dark of the woods, their eyes red, their fangs sharp. The form of a man, he thought, but not a man. Vampire. They existed to feed off man, and now they banded together under their queen to destroy all. He was here to stop them, at all and any costs. He was here, at the charge of the gods, to save the worlds of man. He scratched idly at his healing thigh, and decided he could hardly be expected to save mankind on an empty stomach. He cut a slab of cake to go with his morning Coke, and licked icing from his finger. So far, through wile and guile, he had avoided Glenna's cooking lessons. He liked to eat, that was true enough, but the actual making of food was a different matter. He was a tall, lanky man with a thick waving mane of tawny hair. His eyes, nearly the same colour, were long like his cousin's, and nearly as keen. He had a long and mobile mouth that was quick to smile, quick hands, and an easy nature. Those who knew him would have said he was generous with his time and his coin, and a good man to have at your back at the pub or in a brawl. He had been blessed with strong, even features, a strong back, a willing hand, and the power to change his shape into any living thing. He took a healthy bite of cake where he stood, but there was too much quiet in the house to suit him. He needed activity, sound, motion. Since he couldn't sleep, he decided he'd take Cian's stallion out for a morning run. Cian could hardly do it himself, being a vampire. He stepped out of the back door of the big stone house. There was a chill in the air, but he had the sweater and jeans Glenna had purchased in the village. He wore his own boots and the silver cross Glenna and Hoyt had forged with magic. He saw where the earth was scorched, where it was trampled. He saw his own hoofprints left in the sodden earth when he had galloped through the battle in the form of a horse. And he saw the woman who had ridden him slashing destruction with a flaming sword. She moved through the mists, slow and graceful, in what he would have taken for a dance if he hadn't known the movements, the complete control in them, were another preparation for battle. Long arms and long legs swept through the air so smoothly they barely disturbed the mists. He could see her muscles tremble when she held a pose, endlessly held it, for her arms were bared in a snug white garment no woman of Geall would have worn outside the bedchamber. She lifted a leg behind her into the air, bent at the knee, reaching